Hey everybody, welcome back to another UCF X's and O's breakdown. We're going to be taking a look back at this past weekend, UCF's first Big 12 win on the road at Cincinnati. So it was breaking up a losing streak, probably I think it was the longest losing streak that we've had since 2015. And we were also able to finally, get some road wins, which have been not as easy for us the last few years. Taking a look right now on the first on the defensive side of the ball. So this video is going to be looking at defense. Few things that we just want to take a note on, just touch on, is some of the past defense might have seen a little bit of a regression. I think that was something. Just Emory Jones was honestly throwing some pretty good deep passes, and I don't know if we were fully ready for that. But our pass rush was definitely doing better. I think we had 5 sacks in the game, and then overall, looking at the rush defense, there was highs and lows. They had 2 guys who ended up rushing for 100 yards, which is not good, and not good, especially knowing that we have to play a very good running back in Oklahoma State this weekend. And then on the other side of that, we were also able to create some negative plays as well. So just looking over just box stats in general, again, we let up 267 in the air, 248 running, and then some of that was taken away, obviously, by sacks. But one of the things, though, just take a look at sacks, 5, tackles for losses, 9, interception, and we had a forced fumble and a fumble recovery. So we were 2 up in the turnover game, and that ultimately was huge for us. We were able to cause a turnover at the end of the first half, and that was able to stop the drive and stop some points, and just staying ahead of them. So it was a very close game. Again, it was 28-26. We end up winning. They don't get the 2-point conversion at the very end of the game, but overall, it was it was a game where I think either team could have pulled away and really started to increase the lead, and ultimately happy, obviously, that it was UCF. So we're going to take a look at that now. All right, so first thing we're going to take a look at is the pass rush. Ultimately, just taking a look at it, we had 5 sacks. You guys remember 2017, obviously, Shaquem Griffin having some of those speed rushers off the edge, guys who can push the pocket and make the quarterback feel uncomfortable, and then speed up his reads, force a bad throw, or ultimately get a sack. That would be huge, especially if we could continue to keep doing that consistently. Now, I don't expect us to get 5 sacks a game, but, I mean, Draymond right now is one of the leaders in the country in sacks. Just overall as a team, you guys know, obviously, Malachi Lawrence has been having an unbelievable year as well, especially in limited reps. So I think that that's something that we can ultimately improve upon, and something that we need to continue to keep improving on if we want to try to win out these last few games, especially knowing that we have a really tough opponent in Oklahoma State coming up this week. So I think being able to limit the passes as much as we can, and trying to negate some of the stuff that they're going to be doing on offense. So taking a look at the first sack, I mean, this was still early in the game, obviously, but they're doing bootleg. Bootleg is something where we had been getting hurt on the boots the past few weeks. Even they got us a little bit this week, but still, it was improvement, right? And that's something that I think that we've all just been asking for, is improvement. Beating the guy coming off the edge. Obviously, the coverage was good downfield, right? Quarterback can't find what he wants, and so it has to be marrying up. It has to be complementary football. When you're marrying up the rush and you're marrying up the coverage, that ultimately is going to help you win the ball game. All right, so then second quarter, looking at the next nice, got a nice pass rush going right here. Ultimately end up forcing a bad throw. We have a little pick stunt coming on the inside right here with the big guys, and then up top we had field pressure coming. If this was a better throw, honestly, this is probably a pick 6. So we can see the edge pressures coming, and then we end up just forcing a bad ball. He's looking for it. I mean, right here, this would be perfect opportunity. His eyes are on quarterback. And again, if that's a better throw, that thing's going to the house. So, again, later on in the second quarter, boot pass, right? Again, boot. Baylor really hurt us in boot. West Virginia, they were getting us in boot. So, just, again, improving. You might have thought he, might have seen the window, but again, decides to tuck it. Obviously, I know he's not a pure drop back passer, so some of this stuff might not come as easy to him. But I think it's just one of those things, again. It's just staying on your keys, trying to take away the easy throw, right? We're trying to take away that quick dump off to the tight end. Forcing the sack right there. Again, guys, improvement, not necessarily about, being all of a sudden just turning night and day into a brand new defense. I mean, especially 8-9 weeks into a season, it's not going to happen. You are who you are at this point. But if we can get even just a little bit better each game, which I think we have been, honestly, especially with the tackles for losses, even if we can just keep improving a little bit each game, I think that's going to be huge for us. All right, so just taking a look at it right before half. Again, they're in 2-minute offense. They're trying to get some points. We understand the situation. Again, dropping back in the zone and just 4-man rush. But again, we're able to beat the edges. We're able to squeeze the pocket, force him to step into it, and then we're just running the hoop. You see the guys when they're doing a little training, the defensive ends, they're running around the hula hoop, trying to get low, trying to break the edge, speed rush. There we go, right there. Nice play. Obviously, if you're able to get something like that, then you're helping. Just continue to one, obviously, you're going to try to either force them to take a timeout or try to run some clock in a 2-minute offense, or you put them behind pace of where they need to be. So again, middle third. I mean, this is just, they're trying to run a little quarterback draw. They're trying to run the fake. And nobody ends up getting Draymond, and this is just a free shot to the quarterback. This is kind of one of those things that's just, not fair to the quarterback. He doesn't get that read. He doesn't have the luxury. He has to play fake it, and they're trying to come back, and they're trying to run the little GH with the quarterback counter, and it just blows up right in their face. Nobody ends up blocking Draymond. Somebody that you want to block, especially just the kind of year he's having, which is a huge year, and very, very happy for him. One last play, just want to highlight as far as pass rush. 3rd and goal, 21-17. They got down there. They had the opportunity to take the lead. Obviously, they get, they get pushed back a little bit, but this was huge. Force them, get them into 4th down, force the field goal. Again, I mean, what can you say? It's good coverage and it's pass rush. I mean, it's married together. That's ultimately the solution of what you're looking for total team defense. But yeah, I mean, this is just huge to get off the field. Again, not a whole lot to it, but it's the coverage that's really helping us out here. You take a look right there. Everybody's locked up. Everybody's tight. And quarterback just has to eat the ball. Huge, huge play. All right, so next piece I want to take a look at is just the improved run defense. Now, overall, was it perfect? No. Obviously, let up over 200 yards rushing. 2 guys rushing for over 100 yards on Cincinnati. But I did see improvements. Obviously, we had some tackles for losses, and then we just had some short, 2-3 yard runs that we were able to really... Again, we're not looking to get perfect this late into a season, but if we can see improvement, that's the biggest thing that we're going to be asking for. And that's something that I think was obviously encouraging. Just making sure that we see that, understanding not to overrun it, right? I think that's been a problem before with our linebackers, and just in some of these situations where we have, they're running zone, and instead of running over the top now with the linebacker and falling out of the fit, now we're actually falling back for the cutback. And that's pretty textbook of what you're trying to look to do. So, again, we're trying to take it, and then as soon as we see it's zone. See, we're already good up front, right? We don't need to get into that rush lane. So we do a very good job of just sitting there falling back and fitting into it. So nice job of Walter. I mean, I think that was also that John Walker right there. Oh, no, Selisgar. Sorry about that. Selisgar, the nice play. It's just it's a good job of not over pursuing over the top, and I think that's where we've seen a lot of these big runs, a lot of these big cutbacks, where we don't do, we're trying to do too much, and again, we talked about that last week, just doing your job, and that was something, obviously, that's where that improved. Again, this is a little bit of a tricky play. Have a lot of eye motion, a lot of candy. One of the things that I'm also going to take note at is They have the slider, they have the run fake, they have the motion, and they have a puller. So they're really trying to make the reads hard for the linebackers. But if you can beat that at the front level, right? If you can beat that up front, you understand that. I mean, that's kind of the key to the play, because they are trying to give you a whole lot of different looks. And again, just great play by Lee. I mean, Lee Hunter, again, he's been really, really good for us. Beating a double team. Getting through there, make a great stop. So, I sent this out earlier. I know it's kind of a short little clip. Zone read play. But I thought just a nice surf down Sean Peterson. Again, don't do too much. Don't do what you're not supposed to do. Serve it down, ride your technique, end up making the play. So this is just, a little bit of bust in the blocking assignment. But I'll take that, especially the way that everything goes. Yeah, I'll definitely take that. 2nd and 8, continue, obviously. Now you end up giving them a long 3rd down. And that's really all you can ask for, is you're not going to get a negative play every single time, but if you can force, 3rd and +6, 3rd and 3rd and 7, I mean, those are going to be ways that your defense is going to greatly improve statistically. That's how you're going to start forcing more interceptions, is you're going to get them in these bad situations, the more obvious downs, right? It's tough when it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and it's maybe not an obvious down. When you get them into the long situations, that's where you really start to see the defenses start to improve. Again, this is a great job. I mean, obviously, we see the play, the tackle is made for a loss, but Tremon just does a very good job, setting the edge. Obviously, he starts to bounce it a little bit, but it's enough that we can force it and end up getting Lee inside the picture. Again, it's doing your assignment. If we do force it back inside, that's what's happening, right? And I think that that's maybe some of the trust that the guys are starting to get back with each other, is if you can force it to go backwards, maybe you don't necessarily get the play, but you have guys coming from the inside to help it. Again, seeing that. I mean, Lee, that's just a great play. Lag, get through, keep following. Big man just coming down. So Cincinnati was also starting to do a lot of the trades, a lot of the shifts. They're moving, tight ends. They're moving guys across around the line, doing a lot similar to what Boise did, what West Virginia did, stuff that really trying to change your defensive front, right? And they're trying to change your rules. So they'll put passing strength to one side, then they'll put the tight ends and the run strength to the other side. How are you going to defend that? Are you going to go, weaker, stronger to one side or the other? And again, I think that this is just a nice job. I mean, they're going kind of stretch lead right here. Again, force it back. Let the guys on the backside clean it up. Don't over pursue it from the backside. And we end up making a really nice play. Again, come down. There's the cutback. Except we're closing that window. And again, I think that those are the things that we need to do more of. Those are the things that if we did them earlier in the year, if we did that against K-State, if we did that against Kansas, who knows? Maybe those games go differently. Again, really nice play now. Now we're closing the door on the front, right? We're beating them across face. Over the top. So you can work over the top when you're working inside out. When you're coming from backer, inside out, there we go. Continue to flow. You don't need to beat him to the edge because we have guys who are already out there on the edge. Just a nice clean-up play. Again, 2 yards. That's a win for us. Again, just nice play. Just nice fill. It's physical. It's going to be one-on-one. It's physical right there. I mean, it's 1st and 20. They had a penalty. So just come up, just make the play. We don't need to get -3 when it's 1st and 20. We're okay just forcing them into that 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 window. Hold your ground right here. Again, just very good job by the defense up front, shedding the blocks, making the tackle. I mean, that's the whole gang is in on it. The whole gang is right there. Extend it. Great play. So, again, I think that's something where just run defense overall, getting better. Obviously, can't say that it's great, and we'll take a look at that in a second. But I just want to highlight these plays and give the proper credit to these guys, especially the ones who are we're starting to see that improvement. We're starting to see the guys get better, and we won the game. So that's something where again we're looking for progress, especially moving forward, trying to get to a bowl eligibility. This is where it's going to have to start. It's going to have to start up front. All right, so now taking a look at, maybe some of the run plays that didn't go as well. I think that one of the things, at least, that I would say is it looks a lot more, to me at least right now, like potentially mental mistakes or just mistakes in general. And I think, again, that's stuff that obviously should it be cleaned up by now? Yes, but I mean, these types of things happen. You guys, you watch... Alabama and LSU just played this past weekend. You see busts all over the field, even at other programs that maybe even they have better defenses or better historically known as better defenses, right? Obviously Saban and Kirby Smart, those types of guys. You still see those guys make busts in their plays, but I think that just taking a look, that's where I thought that a decent amount of their plays really started to bust and go for the longer ones. Was just sometimes it was our mistake. We're getting into these situations, counter type play. Thing is I think that we have a little miscommunication. See, because I'm not sure with the end down here. It seems like we're going this way and we're going in. And so now we're holding for what's coming around on the backside. Obviously, nothing does come. So now we need to be falling back in, right? Now it's gone. We need to be falling back in a little bit quicker. But we see the end is going inside, and the tackles are going the opposite way. Obviously, they're getting down blocks, and they're getting knocked back on a double team. But from the end standpoint, I'm not sure if he's supposed to be spiking inside like he is, or if he's supposed to be staying outside. And then when they pull, they get 2 and 2, and we have 2 for 2, but now we need our third defender, and the third defender's coming from depth. It's coming in later, ends up being a huge run for us. Again, stuff that we need to clean up, especially going Oklahoma State, Ollie Gordon, very good runner. So again, this is another huge run. It's not really an issue where I don't think we're out of position right now. I think it's just a matter of now we got to come up and make the play. Now, obviously, that's the other side of football, right? You can make the perfect read, but if you don't make the play, then that's all for naught. Again, let's just run the feet, just do the little things, right? Stuff that's in camp. It's a 3-man service. They're going away. Celiscar, keep fighting. Edge, try to close that window a little bit, but it's right there. For whatever reason, we just, we're not hitting it fast inside out. Again, I think it's part of this little stutter, right? It gets a little cloudy, but you got Jason in perfect position. If he makes that cutback, we have Jason on the left side. Again, just getting it to the edge. And again, that's the tough stuff is, watching it, and I think that's sometimes the frustrating part is you're thinking, how did he get there, or why are we allowing that? I mean, it's got to come up and make the play. So, again, stretch again now. A little bit different presentation. Stretch outside zone lead, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care what the terminology. You guys can use whatever terminology you want. I'm just trying to keep it pretty simple. Tough thing is right now, right? Count the box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're allowing ourselves to get beat. I mean, it's It's not the greatest. It's just not good at both levels, right? First and second level, you know, first level we're getting knocked back. They're moving the line of scrimmage on us, and they're working up. This side, again, we're filling into a cloudy read that I don't think we need to do that. I think that we can let those guys keep working on the inside and work over the top of it. Now we're forcing our safety to come up and make the play. Again, it's not that, I think the guy's a great player, but obviously you don't want your free safety making tackles like that. You don't want your free safety or your corners. You don't want to rely on those guys. Those guys are really there for, defend the pass. There's a reason that they're playing back instead of in the box most of the time, right? Then again, this is just I don't know if we have a stunt coming on. We crash inside, so I would think that if we're going to take that inside, then we have to have something coming on the outside, or potentially we have to call wrong. If we're crashing inside, I don't know if it's supposed to be nickel blitz. I don't know if it's supposed to be backer. But if somebody's spiking, typically that means that somebody's coming back out, or we just get pinned. But I don't know if that's necessarily the case right there, because obviously the flow was coming towards us. So I think that we were supposed to have something coming over the top. This is just a guess, but my guess is it's supposed to be backer. And for whatever reason, we get dirty eyes, and we end up going the wrong way. Ends up, huge play. Break it in the alley. And again, that's an issue, that's mental issue, not necessarily scheme issue, I don't think. It's, do your job, be where you're supposed to be, make your plays. Everybody else, if you rely on everybody else to do their job and you do your job, the defense works a whole lot better. Very similar to, say, basketball or something where, you don't just go and start double teaming a guy if you're not prepared to start making switches and stuff on the back end. Same thing now. It's if you start trying to overstep your gaps or you start trying to make these plays that you don't need to make, that's where we start to get hurt on defense. And this is actually, right, we just saw that last play before that went out for a big one. That's what I'm talking about. If we're going to run the stunt and we're going to spike that inside and we're going to take that B gap with the end, then you see how linebacker's out? Now, they end up obviously having another blocker. But that's where I was saying I think that we had a missed opportunity on the last time when we went in-out. Now we got to make a fill. We got to make a fill now because now they have a second blocker. They have the lead block coming. But that's where you're saying if you see those spikes, if you see those kinds of stunts and twists, it's typically for a reason. It's and especially if it's somebody like Draymond, I don't necessarily think he just got the wrong call. I think he knew what he was supposed to be doing, and maybe we just let our somebody else let their eyes kind of get taken to the backfield, and they weren't necessarily doing everything that they're supposed to be doing. Here's the play. This is just, this is one of those tight end does a nice job. He's giving Draymond some work, and Draymond ends up hitting the deck right there. But that happens. He had a great game overall. You play the game long enough, somebody's going to get you. Quarterback ends up making a block. Again, it's not that, split zone, right? Split zone, sniffer's coming across, but it's zone up front. We talked about this before. Where do the big plays in zone happen? It's on the cutback. He plants his foot. Again, stay inside out. If we're backer fit, let's stay inside out. Obviously, the end, you want to surf it down a little bit more. Stay outside on the surf down. But again, if we're backer fit, fall back. You don't need to be over the top. If you're the backside backer, you don't need to be making plays 30 yards across the field. Make your play when it cuts back to you. That's one of those things where it's tough, right? You watch it and it's like you're thinking in your mind, it's simple, right? It is easy. At the hard time, obviously, it's just in the moment. It's can you stop yourself from getting overexcited and overrunning it? And that's where the offenses do a very good job of knowing and understanding that. They start pushing it downhill. They understand that you're going to try to beat them over the top, so then they make those cutbacks. Again, let the ball roll off the table, right? Let it go slow, let it flow across over the table, or, let it flow over off the table, and then you can just make your flow over the top and then come inside out. You don't need to beat them to the point, especially if you're from the backside, because we have that help. Now we beat him there, the backer. He's able to cut underneath it. We flow fast flow, and then you just get turned out. If you're coming from the backside right here, I'm not sure why on the backside, why we make this cut here as opposed to continuing to go across. I know we're trying to understep the block, but now we have no chance. So a lot of the times, again, guys, when we're looking at these plays, the big plays, a lot of the times, I mean, they're not necessarily, not stuff that we can't stop. I mean, obviously we stopped this earlier in the game. A few minutes ago, we just saw how we were making these stops. Now it's just a matter of, hey, let's get out there and do the correct things. And I think that that's something where obviously the fan frustration is. And it's not scheme at that point. It's, you can call the correct defense, but the guy has to go make the play. Again, this is just split zone, split zone. He hits the line back. Again, so taking a look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? 8 guys. I understand they're heavy. They bring the tight end. They bring, the motion. Again, they're trying to do a lot of that similar to what we saw with Boise, K-State, West Virginia. I mean, we're probably going to see it again with Oklahoma State. They're going to try to make it so we start getting eyes dirty and we start looking for different things, right? Again, got the key. Sniffer's back here. I don't know necessarily who. I don't know if that, I think that might be Nakai. I'm not sure, but needs to be a little bit more friction right there. There needs to be, hold that edge. He's kind of just walking back. He's allowing himself to get blocked right there. Linebackers, we have guys outside. I mean, you can see up top, we're moving, we're pushing outside. Anyways, we're slanting towards it, right? We're slanting towards it, so we don't need to beat it over the top. If we're slanting towards it again, obviously let the ball run off, let it roll off the table. And then again, just ends up being a big cutback, wind back, split zone, wind back. So, again, improvements. We made some good plays, made some not as good run defense plays. But there's room to improve, and I think that we have improved. But this week, got to buckle up the chin strap. Obviously, Ollie Gordon, very, very good running back, might be the best running back in college football at the moment. So that's going to be a challenge, and a lot of it, again, is going to be just, trust the guys on the other side. If you're one backer or the other backer, front side or backside, if you're front side or backside DN, whatever it is, just trusting that the guy on the opposite side of the center is going to, help make the play. He's either going to force it back to you or you can force it back to him. It just make it a team game. All right, guys, next thing we're going to take a look at is the pass defense. It's one of those things, obviously, again, very similar to the rush defense where there was highs and lows. Quarterback who isn't typically known to be, the most precise passer, but he made some plays, especially when they counted. And then that's something where obviously you have to take everybody and treat them like they could play their best game, right? You can't just take it easy on opponents. But one thing that obviously we did good job on the back end was some of those sacks were coverage sacks. Some of these other plays were just doing a very good job, in the right situation. So obviously we're looking at 3rd and 11, right? It's 3rd and 11, just zone, force the check down, get off the field. Again, that's fine. We don't need to push them backwards. We don't need to make them get negative plays, especially on 3rd down. All you need to do is just, be short of, say, 4th and 1, we're okay. Again, this is just something I pointed out on Twitter. Very, very good play by Nakai. So this is college football. There is no 5-yard bump rule. There is none of that. With the NFL, obviously, you can't touch the guy after 5 yards. It's just a very good job. You start controlling the speed, right? You start controlling the bump. Now, obviously, when the ball's in the air, you're not supposed to make contact. But if you can control the speed by not opening the door for the receiver, you don't have to clear your hips and just let the guy through, right? As long as you're not grabbing and holding the receiver, force him, bump it, and then he's making the read back. And then this is just a great play. You get the return out of it, end to half. So try to make something happen. Just very, very good play by Nakai. Nakai, again, I think has been one of, if not the best players on defense all year. He has been one of them. So it's just encouraging to see. Another encouraging thing to see is, Yates right here. They hit us early in the game, first or second quarter. Very same thing. They're running, it's just running back screen, swing screen. They're trying to set the pick. We end up getting through it right now. See, before they end up hitting us earlier in the game, they hit us for a big play. And we end up, again, almost getting a pick 6 out of this. So, nice recognition. Again now, 3rd and 14, same drive. I actually think they went same play, back-to-back plays. But again, it's recognizing it, it's understanding it, and then getting over towards your key. This is just from a different defensive structure. So now instead of linebacker coming out of the box for man, now it's 3rd and 14. We're going to give them a rush look, and then we're going to play zone to it. Beat the first block. Then we got guys there to rally to make the tackle. So it's, same play, different defensive look, but still, obviously, it's a great job. Now, again, we're talking about some of these coverage things. Obviously, it doesn't go down as a sack, but we can force him right there. It's a 1-yard loss, 2-yard loss. It's 3rd down. I don't really care if it's a sack or not on right there, 3rd and 6. If we're forcing the punt, we're getting off the field. Call it whatever you want, but that's just, it's a very good play. Obviously, coverage is there. They're running mesh. This play, this is a play that we're going to see probably 10 times Oklahoma State. When I've watched just some of their games right now, they really love to run mesh because mesh is good against zone, it's good against man. You're seeing those inside guys. A lot of the times you'll actually see those guys high five, and then you have an over-the-ball route in the middle. So it's crosser. If it's man, they're going to keep running. If it's zone, they're going to settle. And then you normally either have some sort of deep shot over the top, and then you kind of have a short route to the side. So right now, there's your deep on the bottom, and then you had your short up top. So again, they're running mesh rail, running back rail. He's the outlet. Good job. They saw zone. They try to settle. Didn't like it. Again, 3rd and 6. Good job getting off the field. Good job getting the punt. 3rd and 16, obvious pass down. Just keep it in front. That's all you got to do. We don't need a home run play. We don't need the hero play. Again, Corey, just good job. Stick with it. Again, it's I know it feels like we might be harping on it, but again, we don't need to. Every play doesn't need to be a highlight play. Once you start forcing these long situations, then you start getting into, you become a very productive defense when you can force these long situations. And that's really when you can force an offense to become predictable, that's where you start to become a very, very good defense. Last part of the defensive video, obviously we talked about the positives in the pass defense, the pass rush, and then just some of the coverage, some of the improvements that we made. This is probably, honestly, the game where we probably taken the biggest regression as far as pass defense so far this year. Um, you know, we ask a lot of the DBs. We put them one on one. We put them on islands, and I think that that's what defensive backs sign up for. I think that if you ask any guy who plays corner, any guy who's out there, they're more than happy to take a receiver, try to shut him down one on one. But that's where I did see a few cracks. Again, we're probably not expecting Emory Jones to be dotting us up out there, spinning the ball as well as he did. But that's something, expect the best game from everybody. We're inside. We're inside. We're okay right now. We're inside and high. I think we just need to close up this window a little bit. I think we need to close some space because as soon as his hips, he's leaning. I mean, he's the ball's out. He's not making that comeback. And then fight through the hands, push through the hands, dive, get through the hands, and try to break up that ball. It's tough right there in the red zone. It's tough making a lot of these plays, obviously, anywhere in the field, because you have to think about, what's the down, what's the situation, where am I on the field, position maintenance. So we only have a 3-man rush. It's drop 8, 3rd and 15. I mean, that's a fine call. You're going to see that on Sundays. You're going to see that from just about everybody in the country, obviously, because, you don't want to let up the home run play. He starts to break the pocket, so Walker's starting to add on. John Walker's starting to add on. Again, we're fine. Right now, sorry, I'm trying to get it for you right now. This is Yates. He's dropping into the zone. He's in the seam window. Curl flat. He's doing a very good job. They're running the dig right here. This is ultimately who's going to get the ball. If he stays on the seam, he has an interception. Instead, he ends up getting a little bit wide. Again, it's an inside backer. I don't necessarily blame him because it is what it is. But it's kind of having some of that presence. It's having some of that field awareness, right? At the time when he's turning, he can see, hey, there's a guy there. He's looking at it. Should be able to see that. And you don't need to necessarily go up and make that play. So, again, I don't think we're necessarily, I don't think we're the best team in zone. I think that some of our guys are just a little bit better equipped to be playing man across the board, especially at the points. But again, it is what it is. You're going to have to play, and you're going to have your mix-up calls, your zone, and your man. But that ends up being one of those plays. If we stay on the seam right there, then we're going to have an interception. Again, this is one of those position maintenance things. We're inside, we're on top. We're good until we're not, right? All of a sudden, we need to, we don't necessarily just need to turn with them. We can bump them, right? We can bump them. We can slow it down. We don't have to open up that window, and then we just start getting completely out of, we're completely out of position as soon as that happens. Ball's in the air. And then we let the receiver work back on the inside of us. So again, maintenance, we're high, we're inside. You can allow that contact. You can bump it. At that point, at that point, if you're already getting hands-on, you might as well just get the PI. I know it's 3rd and 16, and obviously you don't want to be the reason that we're getting a flag or anything like that, but, it was better than the alternative, right? Getting 15 yards was better than getting, where they were, down to the red zone. Again, slot fade. It looks like almost the exact same replay, right? Slot fade. Just bump it. Bump it. You don't have to open the door. Don't let them get on top of you like that. I mean, once you're low and inside, you're not in a great spot to be. Now you really can't control his speed. Again, go through the hands. I think in one of these situations right now, you're looking at him and your hands are starting to react when his hands do, but you don't necessarily need to do that, right? I would say for the most part, I think most DB coaches are going to teach punch through the hands, rip out the ball. Because if you can't even see it, what's the point of, you're trying to throw your hands behind your head, whatever. I know you're trying to make a play, and obviously in the moment things are different. But if you just play it, punch through the hands, try to rip it out. So, again, I don't want to harp too much on it because some of the times, it's the young guys. It's Braden Marshall. It's he's going to get better. I mean, freshman, true freshman, redshirt freshman. He's underclassman. So just again, it's the little things. It's position maintenance. It's just understanding where you are on the field. It's understanding, bodies, understanding bumps. Again, don't open the window. Don't open the door. Do like what Nakai did. You can let the bump happen. You have your help on the inside. You have the post safety on the inside. So you don't have to worry about getting beat to the post. And then the one last play, just wanted to hit on the 2-point conversion play. This play, honestly, should have been open. It was open, and that's kind of one of the scary things, is just taking a look at it right now. I mean, this right here, obviously, the ball is going at that point, but he knows the routes, right? Quarterback understands what the route is. It's their call. They're trying to give us that same look. They've been doing it all day, right? You got the little flat screen, and then you're running your short routes. But the ball's not gone here, and you see the anticipation. We have a lot of traffic right there. A lot of traffic. Guys are bumping. We're doubling up. I think that at that point, if the quarterback were to hit that underneath, right there, again, ball was going. I think he came off it a little bit early, or if he threw the inside route just a half second earlier, I think he's late getting to this throw because he wanted this throw. He just doesn't throw it. And there you go. So ultimately, I mean, hey, we win the ball game. We stop the 2-point conversion. Everybody's happy. Again, stuff to clean up, stuff we improved on, but overall, I just thought that it was encouraging to see that we are getting those improvements, and I think it is something that we're going to continue to get better on, hopefully. And right now, it's just going to be a lot of run heavy defense coming up this next week. It's Ollie Gordon, again, one of the Heisman contenders at running back. Very, very good runner. Passing wise, they do a good job distributing the ball. You're going to see a lot of mash. You're going to see a lot of just, we're going to see a good amount of boot action. That is what it is. How we decide to defend it, I don't know. Just knowing how they are running, maybe trying to stop them, slow them down, trying to run some stunts, trying to bring a little bit of extra pressure, but obviously that can leave you open on the back end for different things. But overall, again, we got the win, held them 26 points, got turnovers, sacks, tackle for loss. So we are improving despite some of the box score numbers. We let up some home run plays, and we let up more deep pass plays than I think we have all year. But those are the things that I think can get cleaned up, and hoping that we can get this win coming up. So thank you guys so much for watching. We are going to do part 2. We are going to take a look at the offensive side as well. But right now, that was it just for the defense up at Cincinnati. So thank you guys so much.